Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Angela. I hope you're doing well today. I hope everything is going the way you want it to be going. Today, we're talking about stocks. I haven't made a stock video yet. Trust me, I am no expert. I am no genius. I am no Warren Buffett, if you will. But for a 19-year-old girl, I think I do okay. I'm going to share with you guys the stocks that I am invested in. There's not too many of them, but I will tell you the ones I am, how much I have in them, which is not crazy amounts of money at all. And just kind of why it is that I'm investing in certain ones, especially for being like, I think teenagers that want to invest, when you hit 18, it's always so interesting to see like, what are you into? What kind of things are you investing in the stock market? So without further ado, let's get into it. For some context, I started investing around October of 2020. I decided, I was still 18 at that time. I didn't turn 19 until December, but I was like looking into the stock market. Michael was always talking about it because he's been into the stock market for a while and just into investing in general. And so I was like, you know what, I want to get into it. I didn't really know much, of course. I didn't really know what anything was or understand a lot of the lingo and jargon that these people use. And so I just kind of did my own research, looked into it, just kind of listened to people on YouTube. And that's how I kind of got started. TikTok, honestly, like, don't hate on it, but TikTok, the people on there, some of them like kind of pop off with the stocks that they recommend, and just like a lot of the ones that you know are knowledgeable, really good. So that's kind of how I got into it. When I started, I used Robinhood. Don't use Robinhood. Look into it if you want to. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is not about me giving you stocks that you should invest in. It's just sharing mine. Robinhood, not that great, but that is when I started, and because it is so easy to use. But now I've transitioned into using Public, and I also use M1 Finance. I think Public is just as easy to understand as Robinhood, except they're not going to scam you out of your money, so that's really cute. And then also M1 Finance is more long-term. So I use my Public for more trading instead of like stock trading, short-term holds, stuff like that. And then my M1 Finance I use for my longer term holds. So that is where we are right now. Public, which has kind of been gaining recognition a lot lately, makes it easier to understand, and it has kind of a social media style platform. And so you can go see what other people are investing in, kind of see what their thoughts are. They can like it's kind of like Twitter, but for stockholders, and it's better than Twitter. And Stefan is the one that talks about it a lot. And so I got like a free stock through him, and that's how I opened up my portfolio. So I have a total of 7 stock holdings on my Public account, and that is Tesla, General Motors, Beyond Meat, Peloton, Clean Energy Fuels, Ford Motors, and Cisco. So I will run through each of these and kind of explain how much money I have in them and why it is that I decided to invest in them. The first one is Tesla. Got it as a free stock through an affiliate link, but it's only like a fractional share of Tesla. I think it's only like $4 worth of it, but Tesla, if you like, who wouldn't want to invest in Tesla, right? Biggest car company literally in the world right now. I love Elon Musk more than anything. And Tesla is just a good company, good, trustworthy company. So that was like the free stock that I got through them. So I have that. The second one is General Motors. And I invested in General Motors because I had some stocks from them in Robinhood before I transferred all of my stuff. And General Motors is just a good company, good long-term hold. Even though this is my trading, like I'm using Public mainly for trading, I decided to get GM on here. I put $25 into GM. I think it's a good company. I think it's a good company to invest in. I'm thinking of keeping it mid to long term. If it hits a spike or something, then obviously I'll just trade it. But for the most part, I'll be holding on to that one. Next, I have Beyond Meat. I only got into this because Michael was like, no, you need to buy some Beyond Meat stock. Beyond Meat is so popular. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Beyond Meat is actually interesting because at Starbucks, we sell like those Impossible sandwiches, and all the Impossible sandwiches are actually made with the Beyond Meat, and they're really popular. And so I'm not mad about it. Beyond Meat is really is a really popular company, and I think people are kind of jumping onto the whole like vegan meat thing again. Like, it was like really popular a few years back, and I think it's coming back again. So I mean, hey, I think this one will mainly be like a little flip stock, so I'll see. I think I am up in that today. I think I'm up like a couple dollars, but I put $25 into that, so I'll hold it a little bit. It won't really be a long-term stock for me unless like I decide to in the future, but I will end up flipping that relatively soon. The next stock is Peloton, and I got into Peloton because of all the stuff that's been going on recently. All those lawsuits, all those things. Hey man, what they always say about the stock market is that you're supposed to buy the dip. And I knew Peloton was gonna take a huge strike because of those lawsuits that parents are having because their kids got injured or their dogs got injured because they were by the bikes. Unfortunate, but that did bring a little dip in the Peloton stock price. And so I bought it at the dip, and now I'm back up because I mean, it's a good company. They make good bikes. People are still going to buy them regardless. And so that one will also be a flip stock for me, kind of like Beyond Meat. So we'll see how far it goes. I'm kind of interested to see how it does. The next one is Clean Energy Fuels. And Clean Energy Fuels is one that Stefan has on his like watch list. And so I was kind of like looking into it. It's exactly what it sounds like. They're like investing into like clean energy alternatives here in the US and in Canada, I believe. So this one, I'm just kind of riding the wave. I bought it kind of at a dip, and now it's kind of starting to like climb back up. So we'll see how this one goes. I don't have any necessary like plans for this one, whether I'm gonna flip it or hold it or any of that, but I did buy some and I think it'll be good. Next one is Ford Motors. I also owned Ford whenever I had Robinhood, and I decided to get it again because it was at a bit of a dip. And I've only put like $12 into Ford, not much at all. But I like it. It's a good stock. And so I'll probably keep that one long-term, kind of like GM, and just see how it rides. And lastly, on my public portfolio, I have Cisco, which is like an IT tech company. Very popular, very well known. And so I just put like, I think I had a little bit extra cash from the money that I had deposited in my first deposit. And so I just put the rest of that, which was only like, I think $4. It's a pretty good company, so I'll probably keep that one long term like the other ones that I had, or at least kind of middle of the road. I don't plan on like flipping this super fast like some of the others that I mentioned. But that is it for my public portfolio. I have those 7 stocks that I mentioned, and I only put like 150 total into my account, and I just spread that between the 7 that I have into how much I wanted each one to have. Although I do plan on depositing more money as the months go on. I'll probably deposit like little chunks of change each month, and then I'll also do that with this next thing I'm going to talk to y'all about. I also have an M1 Finance account portfolio, and this one is more for long term. So M1 Finance has what they call like different portfolios for you to choose from, and it's like a mix of ETFs and like long-term stocks, so like Vanguard, all that stuff. And it's more stuff like when they tell you, oh, invest in the S&P 500, all that, that's what this is. And so it's different. It's like a mix of different things, ETFs, companies, whatever, that prove growth over however much, whatever the period of time is. And so I decided to put 30% of my deposit into a moderately aggressive portfolio. So they have different levels, and you can range from like really like basic, like low levels. You won't see too much growth, but you also will make money. It will never be that you're losing money. And then of course you have on the higher end, super aggressive. You are investing in like riskier companies. So I decided to just go like kind of down the middle with a moderately aggressive, so not too much on either side. And I put 30% of what I put in my deposit into a like Vanguard ETF fund. So that is what that is, and that will be long-term. Just leave it there, let it grow. The rest of the 70% of my pie, as they call it, goes into a total of 10 different companies, corporations, etc. So the first one is Procter Gamble. Procter Gamble, yes, the Procter Gamble. It is pretty much a hit at all times, never a miss. Procter Gamble is huge. It just made so much sense to have it long term because I know that they'll always do really well. And I put 10% into Procter Gamble. The next company is Starbucks. I had to because I work here. Gotta invest in where I work, right? Why wouldn't that make sense? So I put 10% of my pie into Starbucks because it does well. It does well, and I know it does well because I, have firsthand experience. And I very much trust Starbucks. I very much trust the company as a whole and the people that work there. So I decided to put 10% of my pie into the company. Next up, I have BP, and I have 10% of my portfolio also in BP, which is British Petroleum. I was invested in BP back in October as well on Robinhood, and it did really well there. I saw a really huge spike. And BP is a really good long-term investment. I decided to keep it at 10% just because those three I trust the most out of the rest of the 10 that I also have. And I just kind of wanted more of that compared to the others. So that'll be long-term hold, keep it in there, it'll be good. Up next, I have Simon Property Group, which is a company that owns a bunch of shopping malls, strip malls, all that kind of stuff. And it's pretty good. I have about 10% in my portfolio for that as well. And it does pretty okay. It's not the greatest, but they do pay dividends. So that is why, a big reason as to why I keep it, and I'm keeping it at that high of a percentage. So that one will kind of be mid to long term. We'll see how it goes and kind of see how I like it. So we'll figure that one out. After that, I have Apple, which Apple does not need any further explanation. And I have 7% in my pie for Apple. It's doing pretty steady right now. I mean, the stock market as a whole is kind of like stagnant, so it's not that exciting compared to last year after the pandemic hit. But Apple is always going to do well. It's always going to be a good company to invest in. So that's why I kept it in my pie. After that, I actually also have Tesla in my M1. I also am invested 7% of my pie in that. And so that, again, is kind of like my public one. I'll keep it long term. It'll be a long term hold. I won't get rid of it. It is kind of wonky, especially today, considering that Elon Musk just said that they will no longer accept Bitcoin as a payment. That kind of shocked the price. And so we'll see. I mean, I will love Tesla forever. I will never stop wanting to have it in my portfolio. After that, I have 3M, which is a company that makes like all those little they make a bunch of stuff, but the thing I'm thinking of is like packaging, tape, and then they have like the sticky notes at Office Depot, all those places, all the like little 3M stuff. Good company, good solid big company. That'll be a long-term hold. Let's count how many times I say that word or that phrase. I hate it. I'm so sorry. But it will be long-term, and I have 5% invested in that. After this, I have an interesting one. I invested in Vivint, which is a home security company. It's really not that great. I was thinking it was going to be better than it was, just because home security companies are always on the market, always on the move, and people are always wanting to buy them. The thing is, most people buy them during the summer months, is what Michael was telling me. So I'm holding until then to see a spike, and then I'm gonna sell and get out. Because right now I have only about 4% of my portfolio in Vivint. But I mean, it's doing really, really terribly. So we'll see how that goes. I'll wait it out. Don't get nervous about it. Don't sell. Don't panic sell. It's the worst you could do. So I'll wait until the summer. Hopefully the prices and the stock price will go back up, and then I can sell it, flip it real quick. After that, I only have 2 more. The second to last one is Duke Energy, kind of similar to the clean energy in my public portfolio, kind of alternatives to fuels and all that stuff. And I have 4% invested in them. They also pay dividends, I believe. And so that is why I decided to invest. Clean energy, always on the move, always super popular. And lastly, I invested in Unilever, which is a huge corporation, and I invested 3%. Again, they pay a dividend, long-term hold company, so it'll be really good. All right, guys, as for stocks, that is all I have today. I'm hoping to diversify more of my portfolios because I think I'm invested in too few companies right now, especially on my M1 finance. I kind of want the 10% to go down a little bit, but as I continue to make money and as I continue to grow those, then I'll figure it out and maybe I'll update y'all. Maybe we can talk about stocks if you're into it. If you'd like to, let me know. Again, this is no financial advice. Don't go on there saying I told you to buy these. If you want to, then do it. If you don't, then don't. But I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked the stocks that I picked. Let me know what you think. My socials are always in the description box down below. I will see y'all next week with another video. Bye.